Welcome. Welcome to Breathe, Move, Rest. More importantly, welcome to your practice space. To move, to breathe, to rest in a way that helps you rekindle the fire of your energy and nurture the tender spirit that may feel just a little overwhelmed, fatigued, or perhaps even done with some of the story of living in this modern world. So as you deepen the breath and ground the sits bones, feel that same energy rising back up through the spine, maybe even broadening across the chest, letting the arms come to rest, either palms up, palms down, arms by your side, or even resting in some way that takes the burden as much as possible out of the shoulders. I have a little reflection poem to begin our practice. So if it's comfortable to close your eyes, turn your senses inward, keeping your ears open to allow these words perhaps to find their way into your heart. Life is amazing. And then it's awful. And then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and the awful, it's ordinary and mundane and routine. Breathe in the amazing. Hold on through the awful and relax and exhale during the ordinary. That's just living. Heartbreaking, soul healing, amazing, awful, ordinary life. And it's breathtakingly beautiful. As you welcome this deep and broad inhalation, let the fingers of the hands spread open. And as you exhale, curl the fingers in towards a fist. Inhale and open. And exhale to close. In this familiarity of breathing with the gentle, easy movement of the hands, we're going to use this layering effect to wake up the pelvic floor, which is part of our dynamic core stabilization team. So on the inhales, the hands open. Soften the pelvic floor. And it's not just the outer tissues of the perineum, but inside the funnel of the pelvic bones. See if you can soften. And then on the exhale, as the fingers curl in, there's a lifting, a drawing in and up. And it might even pull back the navel. That's okay too. Inhale, soften. And if for any reason you do not feel that softening in the pelvic floor, then skip this contraction on the exhale and focus just on the softening, the relaxing, the easing. Layering on again a pranayama called ujjayi, or ocean sounding breath. Again, this will be on just the exhale. So our hands will close, our pelvic floor may lift, and our throat may close. On the inhale, the throat softens, the hands open, and the pelvic floor relaxes. So it's an inhale and an exhale. 3 more. Gentle fist, resume a natural breath. Begin to roll the wrists. The hands can stay in their gentle fist or begin to open and extend to the fingertips as you circle, almost as if you're drawing a figure 8, rolling through the wrists. And then gluing the elbows to your side body, we're going to swivel the arm bone. And so as we swivel out, kind of presenting to the hands, and then crisscross and come back. Swivel out and crisscross. So we're keeping the arms close to the body to minimize the weight-bearing burden of the shoulders and opening up the pectoral muscles of the chest, lubricating the connective tissue of the shoulder itself, as well as the forearms. So depending on the labor of your day, this may feel unfamiliar. It may feel even more challenging than perhaps some of the other motions that we do. Just to connect with the body by layering the mind and the attention of the breath in these movements. Nice. All right, as the hands come back to center, thumbs point up and palms towards the middle. Just extend the fingers forward and lift them up comfortably. And then on the exhale, bring the elbows back down and press behind you. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, pull back. Good. Inhale and exhale. The width of the arms is what the shoulders will allow. At some point, you might feel a bony structure at the top of the shoulder. That's called the acromion process. And in order to get around it, we literally widen our elbows. So that's okay. If you're feeling that you're getting to that bony structure, we're just using this once again to warm up the shoulder. Now, we're going to add that extension behind you. So that means the elbow straightening. So as the elbow comes back, and then straighten and push those hands behind you, right? So relax, reach forward. And you don't have to move your body. This is just so that you can see a little bit more clear where the hands are traveling. All right, from this extension forward, back, we're going to transition into an alternating shoulder circle. So again, the hands can rest by your side. Lift one shoulder up, back, and down, and then move right over to the other. Now, you can add the elbow as an exaggeration of that circle if it feels good in the shoulder. Some of you might already be sliding into a bit of a spiral through the torso, and that's fine. That's where we're going to go in a moment. So we're going to work through essentially 10 joint movements. It's called a dasha shalana in our yoga tradition. Dasha meaning 10 and shalana meaning churnings. So the wrist, the elbow, the forearm, to the shoulder. So we got 3 there. Ankle, knee, and hips. We got 3 there. The neck and the head. And then essentially 3 directions of moving the spine. We'll get to that in just a moment. Working up and around. Maybe that circle is enlarging. Maybe you use that base hand as a little bit of leverage to start to exaggerate into the first spinal movement, this rotation into twist. Good. All right, we're going to do one more round. So even it out as you need. And then bringing the hands behind you, right? They might rest on the floor a little bit. They might crisscross all the way to hold opposite elbows. That's going to kind of open up the chest a little bit and then circling the nose. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be fast. Eyes open or closed, breath steady. Well done. Pause and reverse the head circling. Notice if the circle might be more of a oblong or unequal shape, a flat tire of sorts. How might you inflate those areas that are a little more sticky, a little more challenging to reach? Well done. Right, head comes back to steady. As you unwind the arms, take an inhale, we call this a sun breath, open wide, and lift it high to come down through center. Now your hands might be in front of your body. They might even be behind your torso. That's okay. You're just opening and extending. Now the head can begin to follow the hands. Obviously, I don't want you to split your head when you split your hands, but see if your eyes can work from that peripheral to see the hands as you lift them up and over. Where do you lose that eye contact? Where do you feel stretch and sensation in the chest, in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the neck, or wherever else you might feel? 2 more here. It's time as the hands come down to rest. Perhaps they rest on the body, no matter how you've arranged your lower body. In a comfortable sit, rest the hands and moving into our second spinal movement. This is our cat and cow. So a rounding of the back and then a pulling forward of the heart. The elbows come back. The tailbone might flare up a bit. The chin might reach. So where is their movement? Back and forth, opening and closing the space between the front and the back of your vertebra. The breath can go either way here. You could take a full breath, an inhale and an exhale in one shape. And then in that transition, take another full breath in and out. Or you can synchronize one direction with the inhale and take the opposite in the exhale. It's not so much that the breath has to be a specific way. It's that we want the breath to be easily accessible and supple so that it's steady and we can help to nourish our nervous system back into a sense of the parasympathetic, meaning the healing, the digesting, not a stressful or anxiety-provoking experience. When we hold the breath, right, when we accelerate the breath, we automatically shift into that sympathetic or that ready alert system of our nervous system. Well done. Let's take a couple more here. And feel free to linger longer in any of these movements if you're just beginning to feel them shift and open. All right, I'm going to take you now into a lateral movement. Right? So again, a big sun breath from a nice stable spine. As you reach the top, one hand is going to come back down. Now this hand might prefer to have some support of a block underneath you, whether it's your hand or your elbow. But I want you to have that support as we then bow over, opening up the side body. Good, come right back up and same side. Right again, and back up. Now, whichever of these two energy movements are more challenging, you might find that that exhale breath helps to engage a little more of your core muscle strength. Again, we're warming up. We don't need to push to anything extreme. One more on this side. And all the way up. Set the block over if you need that on the other side and shift. Shoulders, ribs, and hips are in the same plane. In other words, it's just a lateral folding, a lateral bending, closing the distance between the hip and the rib on one side while keeping that bone rooted and opening that distance between the hip and the rib on the other side. Stay with this, or when it feels even and warmed up, we're going to bring a little more challenge here by repeating the same motion, but alternating from side to side. Top arm is also an option, right? If that feels like it's starting to pinch or cause fatigue, take it out. If you want a little more challenge, bring the bottom arm, not from supporting you, and instead crisscross it to give you, again, a little more muscular control through the torso. The ear might fall to the shoulder. Relax the jaw. Notice if your butt cheeks are lifting off the floor. Can you really root through wherever you're seated? Well done. When you even that all out, you feel like you've gotten all the sides that's going to open here. We're going to come back to that forward reach. Oh, that's my IYWT. So I, bring the hands forward. Y, open the arms out. W, bring the elbows down. T, take the arms out. And then give yourself a hug. Oh, come on, really mean it. Come on. Inhale and open. And hug the other way, opposite arm on top. And a big celebratory breath, sun breath, up and open. Give yourself a high five at the top. Woo! Bring your hands down and clasp them perhaps behind you to once again inflate, to lift that chest up and open. Well done. Release, same thing. Hands come forward, parallel and lift. Open to your Y. Down to the W. Out to the T. And crisscross. So I can't take credit for this. This is actually one of my students who came up with the acronym, right? IYWT. In yoga, we trust, with a little bit of self-love and a whole lot of celebration. Woo! Come on down. And once again, let's open our hearts. All right, let's move on down to the lower body. So I'm going to come down into what is called essentially a bridge prep pose. So wherever you are, untangle your legs. And it might mean that you need to rearrange how you can see, how you face. We're just going to lower the backside to the floor. And essentially, we're just going to work the lower body. So shoulders and head rest, feet widen a little bit outside of the hip width. And we're going to rock the knees from side to side. Doesn't have to be a big sway. Doesn't have to be a small sway for that matter. Just looking to not only start to lubricate that thigh bone in the hip socket,
but also the SI, the sacroiliac joint on the back side of the pelvic bowl. Notice what you notice. Well done. All right, one knee. I'm going to start with my right knee. You can start with whichever knee you want. We're going to bring that knee towards the body. And if you have a hard time reaching your own leg, you can use a strap or just use your strength to bring the knee up and set it back down. This is it. We're just bringing the knee in and down. Now it's mostly flexing through the hips. This is called the hip flexor, meaning we're bringing the knee towards the belly. And then we're going to add on. So as I bring my right knee into the body, I'm going to extend my left leg out long, give a reach through that long leg. Stand the left foot, set down the right knee. Bring the left knee in, extend out to the right leg, and energize down that leg. And just take this a couple more times, alternating movements from one side to the other. And of course, you can add some more effort here if you want to do both legs moving at the same time, but that will quickly bring you into more of a working, and that's fine if you're feeling warmed up and ready. Your leg might not come all the way out straight. That's fine. Just move it where you can find that space to open. Last round. And then crossing one ankle over the other leg. This is our figure 4 shape. With the support of that base leg, I'm going to circle the top foot, making some circles with the toes to massage the ankle, to lubricate the forearm, just like we did with the hand and the wrist. And then reversing that circle. Good flex and point, maybe curling the toes on either end, just finding where there's some movement in the ankle, and then the foot, and down the toes. And then from that flexing to pointing, come into a soft shape of the foot, kind of like if you were wearing your shoes and standing, and then swivel the ankle, kind of tilting the ankle inward and outward, medially and laterally. So the inside little instep is lifting towards the inside of the ankle, and the outside little toe then swivels to lift towards the outside of the ankle. And this won't take very long for you to feel a whole lot of heat and effort. And then release that and circle out again. Rest. And that rest could include bringing the whole lower body up into the chest. This is our figure 4 fold, a variation of the pigeon shape. Drawing that bottom leg up. Primarily, we're looking to stretch in that buttocks, the piriformis muscle, and the external rotators of the top leg thigh. Well done. As we set down the lower body, go ahead and resume that swaying of the knees. So plant the feet, sway the knees, and maybe box the elbows above the chest and take them in opposite direction of the knees. Inhale up, exhale over, up and over. Awesome. All right, come on back to center, and we'll cross the opposite ankle over the standing leg to circle the foot. And and reverse it. Flex and point. And then angle, tilting that ankle. Super, super important to maintain the health and stability of our ankles is to maintain this lateral movement. Really all movement, right? All these gentle, non-weight bearing movements are how we maintain access to these shapes so that when we slip or fall, we have range with which to recover from, as opposed to falling right into catastrophe. All right, that's enough there. So I'm going to circle out my ankle. Whoo, that got hot fast in that movement of the tilting. And then fold up into your pigeon shape, whether you hold the bottom leg, whether you hold the top leg, whether you fold at all. We're just looking for a little more stretch sensation in the buttocks. Okie dokie, come on down with those feet. We got one more effort and challenge here before Savasana, before our rest. So we're going to do a bridge lift. That's the hips rising by pressing down on the feet and squeezing the buttocks. While the hips are rising, we can also lift the arms up like that I that we made earlier. Let the hands fall open to a Y. As you come down to the buttocks, bring your elbows down to your W and then return them to neutral. Inhale, I. Open to your Y. Bring them down with the hips into a W and release. Two more. Wrap the arms and give yourself a hug. Take it out into a T. Wrap them the opposite way. Give yourself a hug. And then let the arms fall open to some comfortable way of laying. It could be on the body, it could be on the floor. You might extend the legs, you might slide a pillow underneath the thighs, and let your body melt heavily into the floor. The breath slow and steady as you release all effort and embrace the stillness of Savasana, the allowing of rest. If your schedule allows you to linger a little longer, please stay in Savasana until you feel complete, until you feel restored and ready to begin again.
And if the mind and body are ready and willing, go ahead and begin your journey over and back upright to receive the closing blessing of our shared practice. Stacking head above heart, above belly, rooting into the floor while rising to the crown. The hands might come to rest in a way of receiving this blessing. May you breathe deeply, move freely. May you labor lovingly and live vibrantly. Namaste. Be well. Thank you so much.